Alright, so where do I begin with this video? I should say hello, I'm Christina, I'm from hairstyle.com, and I have been asked a question on Instagram, which I'm going to be answering now, which is why I don't follow the curly girl method and why. And I wasn't sure if I would do this video or not because there are some very strong opinions in the curly hair group, in any forums, if you've ever been in any groups or forums online. So what I say sometimes isn't in agreement with those groups. I don't want to push anyone who's completely curly girl away. If you love the CG method, I am all for that if it's working for you. I just wanted to make this because I feel like there's a few women that I speak to and that email me privately who are really stressed out about this, and they're the ones that need to hear that if it's not working for you, you don't need to persevere. I don't ever want you to do anything with beauty or your hair that is a struggle. That's not what this is about. I mean, there are real struggles in life, and my hair does not need to be one of them. So make it simple, do what works for you. It's not to say that I'm against the curly girl routine completely, it's just that I want to say why it's not right for me, and it really depends on your curls. So, the one thing I was kind of worried about is everyone's going to come out and say, no, I haven't done it properly or I haven't tried it before, but I have the book, I've read the book, it's fantastic. Oh, actually, I've got it here, I'm just going to show you. So, if you haven't heard of the Curly Girl method before, it's based on the book Curly Girl by Lorraine Massey. And Lorraine Massey is a hairdresser from England who moved to America, finally found lots of other women with curly hair and started to embrace her naturally curly hair. And then she started, was one of the founders of the Diva Chan salons and also the Diva Curl range of products. She's now no longer involved with those brands, but she did found them. So it's pretty crucial, and she's done some amazing work for creating curly girl products for a range of different curl types. And I think what she's written in this book is really amazing. And interestingly enough, I've written a book before and I was approached to write another curly hair book. But I didn't know that I would have anything different to say to what was already in this book. The only thing I would update are the hairstyle recommendations, which I think are really dated. But that is just something that I do on my blog on hairstyle.com and on this channel anyway. So I didn't really think that I was the person to rewrite the curly girl method, because I think what she's written here is actually amazing. And that's one of the things that kind of frustrates me with the curly hair group, is that, or with any forum, so everybody's on there trying, but they've never read the book. I mean, this book is cheap. It's only $10 to $12 on Amazon. You can probably find it at your local library for free. So before you go out and start spending hundreds of dollars on new products for your curls, that you're trying to find this magic solution, just go hire this book from your local library, or buy a copy. You can probably find one in your secondhand bookstore. They'll be everywhere. Or ask your hairdresser if they've heard of it. And just have a read through, because I think it goes into so much more detail than you get in any single forum post or blog post. And while I have tried to write a little summary of this, I feel like just buy her book. I think there's some amazing content in there that I think is worth it. I'll put a link below if you want to try, if you're trying to find it on Amazon or a local bookstore. So, have I tried it? Yes, over the years I've tried many versions of the curly girl routine, and I've avoided using shampoo and all. It was the basics: no shampoo, no sulfates, no silicons, no waxes, no alcohols. I've avoided all of those for, I think at the most, around about 4 to 5 months. And while it worked okay for me, I found it limiting. And I'd say that's the main reason I don't follow the curly girl routine. I think it takes a long time, particularly to dry my hair, because she doesn't really advocate a lot of use of heat. And I think that while the washing and the applying products is not that much different to anything else, the fact that you can't heat style your hair just takes me forever to dry my hair. And if I live in Australia, so here it's pretty warm, it's not that much of an issue, but if you live anywhere cold, I just don't know how you manage that process in winter. I think it's a nightmare, unless you're not going outside and you can sit at home for a few hours in front of a heater or a fire. But for me, I also just find the curly girl routine a little bit boring. The whole process behind the curly girl routine is just to get back to what your natural hair is. And for some people, and particularly I see in the forums, that people who are really unhappy with how it's going for them, your curly hair is just not going to go that way. When you're looking at pictures on Pinterest, probably they're heat styled, or someone has really amazing hair. I kind of was thinking about a comparison. It's no different to maybe like an amazing fitness model. I could do all the things she does, but I'm probably still not going to look like her because that's just not my body. And the same is with curls. No two curls are the same, and you could follow exactly the same steps as your curl hero, and your curls are just not going to look the same. And I think that it's good to accept that and to be okay with what your hair naturally does. But for me, I feel like there's more to life than one look, and so I like to experiment and I like to have fun with my hair. So I think that that's what hair is all about. It should be fun. It grows back, you can cut it, you can style it, you can color it, you can do whatever you like to it. On one hand, I want to say that I think I'm actually lucky to have curly hair. I wasn't born with naturally, or when I was born I didn't have any hair. This is probably a common story that I get from lots and lots of my readers. I get emails every day about everybody's curl journey, and no two curls are the same, but I do find that there's a few similar points where you might relate. And that's when my curls started to appear when I was a teenager through puberty, as main hormonal changes can happen, because curly hair is interesting. It's a non-dominant gene, but it can be activated by certain events, hormonal changes, things like that. So the curly hair gene will always be present. You've got to have it somewhere in your family to have curly hair, but it can be activated at certain points. So the main times I get emails from my readers are when they're about anywhere from like 9 to 14, when you're going through puberty and your hormones are starting, and it can be a really tough time. And that's what happened to me. I went from having straight hair that I would brush every day to it starting to get really frizzy, and I had no idea what to do. Until the end I ended up with a massive triangle cut of frizzy hair, and I had no idea. And that's when my hair went curly, and it also changed colour. But I also find that it can also be in like a weird 7-year cycle. Most hair is within around about a 7-year cycle, so it can be at the end of that. So maybe it's 21, maybe it's sort of after you've been a teenager that your hair starts to change again. It can be when you have a baby. There's massive hormonal changes with pregnancy that can make your hair go curly or straight. Menopause, I seem to get lots of emails as well from women experiencing hair changes then. And then also illness. So it can be a variety of different illnesses or other kind of stress situations like that can cause your hair to be curly or straight. So for me, I didn't always grow up with curly hair, so I've learnt to change it. And I kind of missed the way my hair used to be before. So I'm always going to be experimenting and trying different ways. A couple of things I really wanted to say about the curly girl routine. The thing that frustrates me about curly girl routine is when people think that they can go up to anyone else with curls and start lecturing them on what they should be doing better with their hair. Maybe you've just caught me on an off day. Like, my hair doesn't always look perfect. Maybe you've just caught me when I'm running up to the shops and I haven't bothered. So it's not really the time to say that to a woman you see in the street, to say, oh, I can tell you how to do your curls better. Nobody wants to hear that. If you do want to introduce them to the curly girl method, or you see someone that you think could really benefit from maybe switching up their routine or trying a new product, which to be honest, I think we all can, say it in, you have amazing hair. Have you heard about this website or this product? Or refer them to the book. Say, when I got this book, I realized I could have hair like yours, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be a kinder way to say it than to tell them hair could look better. I hear that story way too often. And I think that's not a good way to give someone a compliment about their hair. The other thing that I think is a bit of a struggle is I see lots of posts in forums on curly hair where people are struggling and they want to give up the curly girl routine and go back to using like a sulfate-free shampoo, or which some groups are completely shampoo-free. And I think that only works for a certain hair type and a certain scalp type. And if you're struggling with it, you don't need to persevere. You don't need to have awful hair for a long time. I see a lot of stress in these posts, and this whole routine is meant to make your life easier. And if it's making your life harder, you shouldn't be doing it. And that's how it felt for me. The other issue I think with curly girl, which is more about the expectations that you're having with the routine, is that you expect your hair to change quickly. And I know for me, I straightened my hair almost into oblivion, and it took a few years for it to grow back, plus a really big haircut. So maybe there is one time when you might want to give the curly girl a little bit more of a chance to work. If you've only been going at it for less than a month or two, that's still maybe a little bit of a transition phase. Keep going, and if after maybe 3 months it's still not working, it's not going to be for you. Go back to using a shampoo, still keep using a lot more conditioner and treatments. It's probably that your hair needs treatments and is quite dry, but you don't need to labour through a routine that is making your day harder. And don't ever be in a forum, I think, that makes you feel bad if you've ever straightened your hair, or if you want to try something quick to go out. Have a think about it. There might be even an easier way that you can do it and still be able to I think what I do is like a hybrid curly girl routine, where I'm part curly girl. Like, I definitely see the benefits of limiting the use of heavy products in your hair and not conditioning enough. But also I'm a realist. I like my hair to look a certain way, and I like it to be predictable. And I just don't think that most curly methods are predictable styling. So for me, heat is always going to come into it. And then we also have to talk about the fact that I dye my hair. I love being blonde. I am not going to give it up anytime yet. It gives me the chance to try more fun colours. So a couple of weeks ago I put some pink in my hair again. Probably going to do it again soon. And I like doing that. I don't want to have my natural hair colour. And I like being able to experiment. If you've been following Hair Romance, you've seen I've been a range of colours even over the last few years. And in my life, I think I've been every hair colour. And that just doesn't fit with a curly girl kind of ethos. And in fitting with that, Lorraine Massey has written a new book which is all about embracing your grey hair, which I also think is amazing, but it's just not for me. I don't think I'm going to be, I'd already have a few greys, and I'm actually glad to have them because it makes my blonde regrowth a little bit less obvious. But it's not something I'm going to be embracing anytime soon, because I want to be having some more fun with my hair and changing it as often as I can. The other thing that the curly girl routine really advocates for, which is part of the Diva Chan salon experience, are dry haircuts. And I've already done a video on this. I'm going to put it up somewhere around here and in the comments that you can watch as well. But dry haircuts are not for me, because all dry haircuts to me end up uneven, and I like my haircut to still have an even finish so that it's versatile, that I can wear it straight and curly. And it's still possible to have layers in your hair that give your curls the lift like I need with my hair, but that don't look ridiculous when you straighten your hair. And yeah, I've seen a lot of curly dry haircut disasters, and I think that it's just not for me. And if it is for you, and I think there are certain curl types it works a lot better for, but with my curls, they're still unpredictable, and I'm not 100% down that path that I'm wearing my hair curly every single day, so it's not right for me. That might be another reason why the curly girl routine, you might find your own hybrid version that works for you. And I guess the one reason also I'm not CG is that, like, a little bit of better living through science. I love some of the innovation that have come through in hair products recently. Things like Plex technology, I'm going to put a link up about this as well. These sorts of products, these new bond restructurers, these are incredible products that rebuild my hair since I've coloured it. So I'm not a natural hair person. I mean, I am natural in that I love my curls, but I'm never going to stick to one colour. I'm never going to stick to one cut. That's just not my nature. And Hair Romance is about falling in love with the hair you have and then having fun with it. So it actually has inspired me to, in my big ramble, to go on and do some more videos about simplifying the curly girl routine and what aspects are easiest to start up, because I think that's what can be confusing when you're looking online. But number one, just get the book. Read it, get it from your library. It doesn't need to be expensive. Number two, just start conditioning your hair more. Everyone with curly hair has dry hair, like 99% of us. So you really just need to make sure you're doing more conditioning treatments. And then three, give your hair a chance just to see what the curl naturally does, and then work out what you actually want it to do. And then find a bit of a happy medium somewhere in between there. Don't feel like you have to struggle along and spend endless amounts of money buying new products and testing them when they're not working for you. We can try and like navigate this simple path together. So I think that's maybe a little bit of a ramble about why I don't follow the CG method, but yeah, I'm too addicted to my hairdryer to give that up. I'm too addicted to being blonde and changing my hair color, so I can't give that up. And I want to be able to have my hair being predictable, and I just can't seem to get that from any curly girl method. So If you feel the same, give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment below. I'd really be curious to hear where you are on the curly girl scale. And if you are really, really pro curly girl, I want to hear from you as to what you think is why it's worked so well for you and what your routine is. I'm fascinated in what everyone else's routines are. So please in the comments tell me what your routine is, what your favorite product is, what was the changer. If you want to know what the changer for me was, I think it was using gel. That's something that I've learned from the curly girl routine that I've incorporated into my styling. And I'll put a video up here about using gel and also how to scrunch out the crunch. I've got a few curly hair videos on here that hopefully could help if you're struggling. And then maybe I can't stop talking. On a final note, not all frizz is bad. So much I see on curly girl forums are about how to get rid of frizz, and I don't think that frizz is the worst thing that to happen. I think Lorraine says that frizz is just a curl waiting to happen, but I also think that frizz is completely natural. If you even look at her hair, she still has frizz. Unless you want to completely coat your hair in product, frizz is completely natural. It means your hair is soft, it's nice to touch, it has movement, and I don't ever want to see frizz go away completely. So I love a little bit of frizz, so don't get panicked about having frizzy hair. All right, so that's my massive ramble about the curly girl method and where I stand. I'd love to hear your opinions. Hit subscribe. I'm going to be posting some more tutorials soon, and I'd love to hear your feelings about the curly girl method. Thanks for watching, and appreciate it if you got this far in this big story. So I'll see you next time. Bye.